fourth, y squared, all to the negative 2. Okay? So first thing I want to do, I could do that. The way I hate negative exponents. I hate negative exponents, so I'm just going to flip the whole thing and make it a positive exponent. Okay, so this is a positive exponent now, so I'm going to flip the whole thing. So 4x to the 4th, y squared. Sorry, here's your homework back. Okay, and then on the bottom I have 3x to the 6, y to the negative 7. Now, Jack, what do I do? Distribute. Now I take this, so everything in here is going to be squared. So this becomes 4 squared, then x to the 8th, right? X to the 4th to the 2 is x to the 8th. Y squared, this gets y to the 2 minus 2 times 2, sorry, y to the 4th. Okay, 3 squared. Okay, x to the 6 squared is x to the 12th. Y to the negative 7 squared is y to the negative 14. Okay, I do not like negative exponents, so I'm going to move this guy to the top, right? Y to the negative 14, negative exponent. I make it positive by moving it to the numerator. Okay? Okay, so I now have y to the 18th on top because this negative 14 went to the top, became a positive 14, and I added that with my 40, positive 18. Okay? And then I have an x to the 8th here and x to the 12th here. That becomes what? Becomes 9x to the 4th on the bottom. Is that what people got? Is that what people came up with? All right.
I see what I did wrong.
Okay, good. And then number 3 real quick. So that interval is negative 3 to 2. This is number 3. So here's negative 3. Here's graphically. Some people wrote the wrong thing on accident. They wrote x is greater than or equal to 3, and then they wrote this symbol. That's false, okay? X is not greater than 2, and, okay, it's this. It's less than 2. Less than 2, okay? If it's in between, make sure that my inequality symbols are facing the same way, okay? So some people made that mistake. Okay, so Jack, and then, what's your name? Sorry, Alberto? Okay, I'll take your papers. Yeah, okay. Just put them in my tray at some point, okay? So that's the homework 1 back, okay? I got those in Power School. Okay. Then I want to go over those 2 problems that I muffed yesterday. Just totally muffed them.
What do you mean you don't know?
No, I just did a bad job teaching you guys. I'm not satisfied. Let's get the P1 notes back out. P1 notes, or P2, get the notes packet back out. And I'm going to go to number 6. Number 6 in the notes packet.
What number did you say?
Number 6.
Oh yeah, this one.
Loved it. Loved it. Okay, let me see. Okay, so 6A. Find the area and perimeter of the figure formed by these 3 points. Okay?
Oh, whipping out.
Okay? So there are my 3 points. Okay? So I want to find the area and perimeter of the figure formed by it. Okay? Let me graph these up here. I like graphing on Desmos a lot better than just freehanding it. Right? I've had these same fine motor skills since I was in 1st grade, so I'm not the best at graphing things by hand. Okay, so there Here I am on Desmos. There's my figure. Okay, what have I got? What shape is this? Triangle. Okay, I haven't figured out how to make line segments yet. Okay, so I have no diagonals. So basically, it's a triangle figure with 3 sides. Okay. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the distance formula to find the length of all 3 of these sides. Okay, so here's A, here's C, here's B. So I use the distance formula. So A to B is so I know this is square root of 41. Okay.
Can you just say the distance formula?
Yeah, distance formula is distance equals the square root of x1 minus x2 quantity squared plus y1 minus y2 quantity squared. Okay, so that's square root of 41, C to B. Squared 4 minus negative 1 squared. So okay. It's going to be square root of 41. Okay. C to B is square root of 41. Okay. A to C. Okay, that gives me 81 plus 1. Okay, so that gives me square root of 82. Okay? So we want to find the area. So the perimeter is fairly straightforward, right? We talked about the perimeter yesterday. I just added the lengths of all 3 sides, right? So the perimeter, P, is going to be root 41 plus root 41 plus root 82. Okay. That's equal to 2 root 41 plus the square root of 82. Okay. Is that okay? Are we all good with that? That's the perimeter, okay? Area, now I gotta find the area of this. Okay. So I think Jade was talking about this yesterday. I had 2 sides that are the same length, so it's like an isosceles triangle, right? And then, so this triangle is not drawn to scale at all very well. So I'm going to draw it over here a little bit better. Now that I know I have 2 sides that are root 41 each. And then this is root 82. What can I say about this angle right here? It's a right angle, how'd you know? Well, not quite, because you could have a triangle that looks like this, right? You could have a triangle that looks like that if this were like length 1 and this were like length 3 and length 3, that's not a right angle. The way you know this is a right angle, did you guys talk about special triangles in geometry at all? Yeah, so this third side right here is equal to the square root of 2 times my shorter sides, right? That's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So my special triangles, right? If there's a triangle with 2 shorter sides, and then the third side is equal to root 2 times the length of these sides, then it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So that's why I know it's a right triangle. Okay. So then I know that I can rotate it around and make it look like this. So my base is root 41. My height is root 41. So my area is 1/2 times the length of the base 41 times the length of the height, which is root 41. That's equal to 41 over 2. Okay? Is that a better, is that a clear, more clear explanation? It's not? Or it is? Okay.
No, it's just, it's good.
Okay, good. And then, and then 7, I want to do 7 again. I thought we didn't, I thought we were a little shaky on 7. Were we shaky on 7? You don't think so? Okay. Well, if there's any other, if there's any others you thought I like muffed yesterday that I didn't really understand. You know, this triangle one was the big one. Okay. So is there anything in these notes we're confused on? Anything you want me to go over again? No? Okay. I just don't want to go too fast for you guys. Okay, so where did we stop? We stopped at 11, right?
Wait, yes.
We stopped at 11a. Write the equation of the circle whose diameter has the following endpoints. Okay, what's the formula for my equation of a circle again? Sub c, x sub center, the center, the x component coordinate of the center, squared plus y minus y sub c, nice, quantity squared equals radius squared. Okay? So we want to write the equation of the circle whose diameter has the following endpoints. Okay? So what can I find from the diameter? The diameter has endpoints 3, -6, and 4, 0. Right? I need to find their distance and their midpoint. What's the distance between these 2 points going to tell me? Yeah, so the length of the diameter, right? If we divide it by 2, we'll get the length of the radius. Okay? So let's get the let's get the distance between them. This is the length of the diameter. It's going to be, okay, 3 minus 4 squared, -6 minus 0 squared. That's going to give me square root of 1 plus 36. Is that okay? And if I make a math error, just let me know. Won't be offended. So that's the length of my diameter, right? So what's the length of my radius going to be? Root 37 over 2. You okay with that? Right? So the distance between the two endpoints of my diameter is the length of the diameter, and then the diameter over 2 is the radius. That gives me my radius, we got that done. Now we need to find the coordinates of the center, which is going to be what? So if I have a circle, and I have 2 endpoints, the endpoints of the diameter, where's the center going to be? Midpoint between them, yeah, the midpoint. So let's find the midpoint. Okay, what did we say the formula was? It was x1 plus x2 over 2, right? Is that it? Okay. So the midpoint is going to be 3 plus 4 over 2 and -6 plus 0 over 2. That's going to be equal to 7/2, -3. Okay? So I have my center and my radius. So do I have enough to write my equation? Do I have enough to write my equation? Yeah, I do. So here's my midpoint, right? X, so now I'm going to go to my equation formula. X minus, and then x sub c is 7/2. Plus y minus, y sub c is -3, so this is going to become a +3, okay? Is that confusing anyone? Squared, and then equals my radius squared, which is 37. Okay. Is that confusing people? So, right, so my formula says, yeah, I put the midpoint, and then my formula for the equation of a circle says r squared. Over here, I just found r.
So that's the equation. So then you just plug everything.
Yeah,
You're not gonna solve that.
slap everything. That's the equation, yeah, that's it. Because if you were to put this in Desmos, let's put it in Desmos. They just want the equation of the circle, so they want, yeah, she gives the circle.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Round of applause. There you go. Yeah, so this is the equation of that circle. Demonstrated. Okay, so let's go on to B, part B. I have 8, -2, and -2, 4. Okay, so you guys help me out. Someone come up with the distance between these 2 points for me. What'd you get? 3-1, like 3/1, or 31?
Wait, you mean the point?
The distance between them.
Oh, I got like
That's the mid. Was it the midpoint you got?
Yeah.
Okay. So the midpoint, Allie came up with 3-1 for the midpoint, and the distance. What would be for the distance?
Oh, that's just, is it?
What'd you get? 136 over 2.
Yeah.
What's that equal to?
It's supposed to be like radical.
Oh, right. Root 136 over 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that what we got. Root 136 over 2. That's the. Oh, this is the radius. Thank you. So this is the distance between the 2 points. Okay, so the distance between the 2 points is root 136, right? So the radius is root 136 over 2. All right. So now I'm ready to just plug everything in, okay? So I get x minus 3 quantity squared plus y minus 1 quantity squared equals, and I square this, so 136 over 4. Is that divisible by 4? I think it is. What would it be? 70, that's 69 times 2. 68 times 2. So 68, 34 over 34, is it 34?
Ask Terry.
Ask Terry, you're right. Who said ask Terry? Alright. Give me the honors.
Oh.
There we go, thank you. Alright, thank you, Terry. Alright. So here's the equation of my circle. Okay. How are we feeling about that? Are we a little confused, a little lost? Yeah.
Okay, well that's there. You got that.
Yeah, it's 136 squared. No, wherever your radius is, well, it'll be over 4 in this case. So just take whatever your radius is and think of squared, so you know how to find that squared. Okay, so it'll be 136 over 2. So for these problems, you'll always get like an over 2. Or, yeah, racing one time. So yeah, this is the answer thing there, and then we got to divide by 2. All right. Move on to 12, please.
Wait, how did you go? Here's what this is. I'm just curious.
Okay.
How did I get the midpoint?
right, quiet down please. Quiet down. So M is the midpoint of segment AB, find B. Okay. Anyone have any ideas? So we have the midpoint, so we have point A, right? We have point A, 5, 1. We have a point B, we don't know what it is. Okay, and then we have the midpoint is equal to 6, 2. Okay. Okay. I'm going to name these. I'm going to name the B, the X component of B, X sub B. The Y coordinate of point B, I'm going to name that Y sub B. Any ideas? Ideas? So we're going to use the midpoint formula still, right? We know the midpoint of these two. We use the midpoint formula, right? Midpoint. So usually it's x1 plus x2 over 2, comma y1 plus y2 over 2. Right? Just gonna input everything in, yep. So the midpoint, which is equal to 6, 2, 6 comma 2. That's equal to x 5 plus x sub b over 2, comma 1 plus y sub b over 2. Okay. And I've got two equations here, right? The x coordinates have to be equal, and the y coordinates have to be equal. So my first equation, I get 6 equals 5 plus x sub b all over 2, okay? Right, and I solve for x sub b, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. 12 equals 5 plus x sub b. Subtract 5 from both sides. I get x sub b equals 7. Okay? And then my second equation, the y coordinates have to be equal to each other, so I have 2 equals 1 plus y sub b all over 2, right? Multiply both sides by 2. I have 4 equals 1 plus y sub b. Subtract 1 from both sides, I get y sub b equals 3. So my point B is equal to 7, comma.
Wait, so did you multiply both? Did you make the x equation? You just literally just solved it. You just paired up x and x and y.
Alright, we okay with that?
Okay, yes sir. Oh yeah, full diagonal. M is the midpoint of the equation. Right here. Wrote it down.
Okay, so then part B,
I wrote nothing but
we have A is 7, 4. B is 2 unknowns, x sub b, y sub b. And my midpoint is -3, -1. Okay?
so same.
Same thing, yep, so -3, -1 equals 7 plus x sub b over 2. 4 plus y sub b over 2. Okay? Everyone see, I just plugged everything into the midpoint equation.
So it's
And then that, I think where I might have been getting confused is like why this gives me 2 equations. Are people confused why I get 2 equations? Okay. So the x coordinates have to be equal, so I get -3 equals 7 plus x sub b over 2. And -1 equals 4 plus y sub b all over 2. Okay, so I solve this. -6 equals 7 plus x sub b. X sub b equals -13. Okay, solve this. -2 equals 4 plus y sub b. -6 equals y sub b. So my b is -13, -6. Any questions on that one? It's okay if we have questions.
It
12A.
says like find B and B's with A, so you always find the N or whatever.
So yeah, so that's the mid. I plug everything in the midpoint formula, so we know what the midpoint's equal to. So we just put it by itself.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm gonna erase this. Okay, so that is all for P2. So the P2 homework we'll definitely do the next time we do P. Okay. So now moving on to P3, number 1. You want to pause? Yeah. Oh, you still copied down the last one? Oh, you already did it.
Yeah.
No, that's right. Yeah, it's just from now.
P3. Are we gonna try and get through all
P3 we can probably blow through. It's all algebra 1. Okay, so I'm moving on to P3. Okay, are we okay with that?
Yeah.
You okay with that?
I'm so lost.
Really?
Just math.
Okay.
I got it.
That might be like an office hour. Come on, office hour. Okay. So 1 for P3. I'm on P3 now. Page 3. Is -1 a solution of x over 2?
Plug it in.
Yeah. So as Ben said, just plug it in. Okay. So let's plug in -1 for x. I get -1 over 2 plus 1 over 6 equals -1 over 3. Let me simplify the left. I get, okay, we might not. So I need to have like denominators, the same denominator. So I need to multiply 2 by 3. Gives me 6. And I multiply -1 by 3. Gives me -3 plus 1, 6. And I have -1/3 over here. -3 plus 1 gives me -2. So -2 over 6 equals -1/3. And then -2, 6 simplifies to -1/3.
Wait, why is that -1/3?
Yeah, why is that a negative?
On the right or the left?
Right. That's not a
Right,
negative.
yeah.
Right?
I thought that got multiplied by 2 as well.
So on the right, I plug in -1 for x, and I just leave it. Just leave it.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I just, yeah, that's that.
On the left, I plug in -1 for x, and I add them together. I got to get my like denominators. Okay, I add them together. -2, 6 reduces to -1/3.
Does it have to make 1/3 also like common denominator?
So I like the one on the right, negative common denominator. I could have also said -2, 6 equals -2, 6. I could have done that. That would work too. They just want a yes or a no. What are they asking for this question? They want a yes or a no.
Oh.
Like what do you mean?
Wait, so this
Just like multiply by 6 on both sides? Okay.
I multiplied 2.
Okay, let's move on to number 2.
We got.
Number 2, which of the following are linear equations? Does anyone know the definition of a linear equation?
Straight line.
That's what it looks like. What's the formal definition?
Constant. Increase or decrease.
That's a trait. That's a trait of them. So it's I'm being really semantic with you guys. So it's any equation where x, there's one variable in it, and that variable like doesn't have an exponent. It's just the variable. Technically, it's an exponent of 1. Okay. So 7 minus 5x equals 2. Is this linear or non-linear? Linear or non-linear? Linear. Why? Yeah, no x. One variable, no exponent. That's just linear. Yep. And then bx plus 7 equals x minus 3. What's that? Is that linear or non-linear?
that x over, it's gonna be 0.
Yeah, so here's what happens with this one. So x plus 7 equals x minus 3. That's just going to give you a point. So this is, let's graph it on Desmos.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah, the x is going to
Zero
cancel
equals 4.
So she got it wrong.
No, I mean, I just don't know what's good. Like, if I subtract x from both sides, I get 7 equals negative 3.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure
It's not.
this is, I guess, I guess.
Don't give us white.
I don't know. Let me ask after class. Put a question mark.
No, let's get it right now.
All right. What about C? What about C? Is C linear or non-linear? It is non-linear. So there's a square root right there. Right? What did I say about linear? It's got no exponent. Well, what's technically this exponent here?
Square root negative.
It'd be 1/2. Yeah. Technically, this is 5x to the 1/2 minus 7. So it's non-linear. Non-linear. What about D? Yeah, so there's linear means, yeah, linear means there's a variable, there's no variable in D, so I'm thinking non-linear. That just means 8 equals 8. That's a tautology.
What?
Have you ever heard the word tautology? It's a statement that's always true no matter what. 8
Yeah,
always
I've
equals
never-
8. What about E? Is E linear? Let's look at it. Why is it not linear, Allie?
Because there's x squared.
There's an x squared. Yes, it's not linear. There's an x squared term. What about F?
F is linear.
Why do you think it's linear?
Because the no exponents are just very.
What about that 1 over x? What's the exponent of 1 over x? Negative 1. X plus x to the negative 1. Yeah. Thank you for answering my question. It's got a negative exponent right here, so it's nonlinear. All right, this one, I can't leave it here without putting a line. This is not. This is a not. That's an inequality. Okay, number 3, going on to number 3. Solving a bunch of equations. Okay. This is just your mojo. Nice. Okay. So 4 minus 2x equals 3x minus 6. What does it mean to solve an equation? If I solve for x, what does that mean? It means I get x by itself on one side of the equal sign. So I get x by itself on either the left or right side of the equals. So here, what do you guys want to do? What do you guys want to do first? Subtract. Okay. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Okay. That goes away because 3x minus 3x is 0. So this becomes equals negative 6. I have a 4, and then negative 2x minus 3x is what? Negative 5x. Okay? Then what do I got to do to get x by itself? What else do I have to get rid of? Got to get rid of this 4, right? Negative 5x equals negative 10. What's my last step to get x by itself? 5 by negative 5. Yep. X equals 2. And then I tell Algebra 1 kids to check your answers on these, just plug it back in, and you can be 100% sure that you got it right. So if this is true, like if this equation holds true, then I know I got it right. 4 minus 4 equals 6 minus 6. 0 equals 0. Sweet. always true. 0 is always equal to 0. Am I wrong? Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me.
No, my bad.
Okay. B. 2/3 x equals 4/5. How do I get rid of this 2/3 right here?
You divide.
I divide by 2/3, right? What's that the same as?
You do 4 over 5 times 3 over 6.
Yeah, so I gotta get rid of this 2/3 here. So I divide by 2/3. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of that fraction. So instead of dividing, I can divide 2/3, I can just go straight in, multiply by 3/2. Again, what I do on one side, I have to do on the other. Okay, so this becomes 1. So x equals, and then what's 4/5 times 3/2?
6 fifths.
Yeah, so I have 12 over 10, which reduces to 6/5. So that's my answer. And I can plug it back into two. Okay? Okay, part C. 3 times 5z minus 3 minus 4 times 2z plus 1 equals 5z minus 2. So I've got a bunch of junk on this side, right? How do I get rid of all my parentheses? Yeah, so I'm going to distribute and then combine all my like terms. So 3 times 5z equals 15z. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Over here, I've got negative 4 times 2z, that's negative 8z. Negative 4 times positive 1 is minus 4. Negative 4. I've still got, I didn't do anything on the right side. Then I combine like terms over here. So 15z minus 8z is 7z. Negative 9 minus 4 is negative 13. Equals 5z minus 2. Okay, now is it a little more manageable? Does anyone not see how I got there? Is anyone just like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 5z from both sides. Get 2z minus 13 equals negative 2. Add 13 to both sides. Get 2z equals 11. Divide by 2, I get z equals 11 over 2. Is that what you guys got?
Yep.
Is anyone lost? Okay, so now I'm going to do d. Okay, 2x minus 3 over 4 plus 5 equals 3x. How do I want to start this one? How do you guys want me to start? Subtract 5? I can start by subtracting 5. Subtract 5 from both sides. Get rid of that. 2x minus 3 all over 4 equals 3x minus 5. Now what do I need to do? Multiply by 4. So I get 2x minus 3 equals, okay, I'm going to distribute the 4 on this side. 4 times 3x is 12x. 4 times negative 5 is minus 20. Okay. Now it's manageable. Looks like all the other ones we've done. I subtract 2x from both sides. I get negative 3 equals 10x minus 20. Okay, add 20 to both sides. I'm going to write this up here. Add 20 to both sides. I get 17 equals 10x. Divide both sides by 10. I get x equals 17 over 10. Okay. Confusion about that one? Are you confused? f t minus 1 over 3 plus t plus 5 over 4 equals 1/2. This one's a little tougher, right? What would you guys do to start? Hate the bottom. Don't you hate the bottom? Yeah. So I would suggest combining these two fractions by giving them a common denominator. So this one I've got a multiple. It's going to be 12, right? That's the least common multiple of 3 and 4. So this one I've got to multiply the top and bottom by 4. This one I've got to multiply the top and bottom by 3. Right? Do I have to do anything to the right side? No, I don't. I don't have to do anything to the right side. That's because all I did was I multiplied this fraction by 1 and that fraction by 1. So I didn't change the value there. Right? Remember multiplicative identity property? I just multiplied by 1. Can I change the right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me look. I haven't thought that far ahead yet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to get 4t minus 4 over 12, and then plus 3t plus 15 over 12. Okay. I can combine these. Since they have the same denominator, I can just combine them into one fraction. Okay, now I combine my like terms in the numerator. So this should be a plus. So I get 7t, 7 times t, plus 11, all over 12 equals 1/2. Now I'm just do the same. Okay? Multiply both sides by 12. I get 7t plus 11 equals 6. Subtract 11 from both sides. Get 7t equals -5. T equals -5 over 7. Is that what you guys got? Sweet. Okay. 4 on the back, cutting 4. Are we confused, lost, stuck, behind? Now I'm solving inequalities. Okay, these are almost the same as solving equations except for one thing. Does anyone know what the one difference is? There we go, Silas. Round of applause for Silas. Yeah, so whenever we multiply or divide by a negative, when we're doing an inequality, we have to flip the symbol. We have to flip the inequality symbol. Okay? So I'm going to start this off by subtracting 2x from both sides. Do we have to flip the symbol for this? No, because all I did was add and subtract. All I did was subtract, so I didn't do multiplication or division, so I don't flip. Okay, now I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. I want to get x by itself. What's my last step? What's my last step here? Divide by 2, right? Do I need to flip the sign? No, I'm dividing by a positive, so I don't flip the sign. I'm dividing by a positive number, so I don't flip the sign. So -2 is less than or equal to x, so I'd write x greater than or equal to -2. That solves the inequality. So what you guys got? Part B right here. I have -1 less than or equal to 3x minus 2, which is less than 7. Okay. So for these, it's technically 2 inequalities. So if you're right, so what I can do 3. I have three parts, I guess. So I'm going to add 2. I'm going to get x by itself, right? I got to get x by itself in the middle right here, okay? X by itself in the middle. I'm going to add 2 to everything. Add 2 to the middle. Add 2 to the right. Add 2 to the left. That gives me 1 is less than or equal to 3x, which is less than 9, okay? And then I've almost got x by itself, divided by 3. Do I need to flip anything? Do we need to flip anything? No. I only divided by a positive. Okay. That's my part B. Are we lost, confused? Just like doing equations, but we have to flip that inequality symbol every time we multiply or divide by a negative. Okay. So I'm going to do what we did last time. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my denominators. I hate the numbers on the bottom, just like Silas. So I'm going to get common denominators. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 on top and the bottom. Okay, just multiplying by 1. Multiply this by 2 on the top and the bottom. I'm just multiplying this whole thing by 1, so I don't have to do anything to the right side. Okay, so that gives me 9 minus 3x all over 6 plus 10x minus 4 all over 6. That's all less than negative 1. Can we combine? Combine like terms in the numerator, I get 7x plus 5 all over 6 is less than negative 1. Okay. Multiply both sides by 6. Do I have to flip? Do I have to flip? So this is a positive number. I'm multiplying by 6. So I do not flip. Do not flip. I'm multiplying by a positive, so I do not flip. Smooth sailing. Subtract 5. And then divide by 7. I still don't flip because it's dividing by a positive. So I get x is less than negative 11 over 7. We've got time for one more, it looks like. So d 1/2 times x plus 3 plus 2 times x minus 4 is less than 1/3 times x minus 3. Woo! Okay, we got a lot going on here, right? But it's not too bad. We just got to distribute. We got to distribute to get rid of these parentheses. So I'm going to do that. I get 1/2 x plus 3/2 plus 2x minus 8 is less than 1/3 minus 1. Okay? Sorry, 1/3 x. I'm so sorry. Okay. Combine like terms. Okay. 1/2 plus 2x is 5/2 x. Then 3/2 minus 8 is negative 13/2. Okay, I'm going to subtract 1/3 x from both sides. And I'm going to add 13/2 to both sides. So I got 5/2 x minus 1/3 x is less than negative 1 is less 13/2. And then I got to combine my like terms. So 5/2 minus 1/3 is 15/6 minus 2/6, so 13 over 6x. That's less than 11 over 2. I'm doing these in my head, sorry about that. And then last step is I gotta divide by 13 over 6, which is the same as multiplying by 6 over 13. I know I'm in the way, I'm sorry. Okay, so that becomes 1. Okay, so P2 homework for the next time we meet. I'll post it on the Schoology. Get the P2 homework? Okay. I'll take your P1 and then pull into P2 for the next time.
I have my second level.
Okay. And then Reese, I gotta get you a syllabus. Trey.